Hey guys, good afternoon. It's Debbie. Welcome to my channel. We are on part 20 of the Betty Broderick trial. A woman scorned. Second greatest. Okay. I guess second is better than nothing. Okay, we are on part 20. They're on part, I forgot, 30 something. But we're on the home stretch. There's like 15. I forgot. I just counted it and forgot. Like 15 more, 13 more, something like that. So we are on the defense's case in chief. We are on Dr. Catherine D. Francesca. And we stopped where they took a break so it would be easier. Hey, Carla. Hey, Judy. Oh, wait. Hey, Marty. Hey, Wiggles. I think Judy. Did I miss anybody? I think Judy had trivia. Before Dan's death, he had done interviews with a local reporter regarding Betty's behavior during their divorce. Before it was published, Dan's attorney contacted the reporter and threatened to sue for invasion of privacy. The results of that interview were published after his death. Why would his attorney do that? I mean, if he gave the interview, if Dan gave the interview, Dan could have just said that's none of your business and not talked about it. Unless Dan had regrets about talking about it and then went to his lawyer and said, you got to stop this. Okay, guys, I don't know why my redirects don't work for you. They work for me on my laptop because I have my laptop over here with my channel up and they work for me. So I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell y'all. Oh, thank you, Carla. You guys, you don't know how good it makes me feel to see people talking when I come on, because for it's always Colin's fault. For I don't know how long I had nobody. I had nobody. Every once in a while someone would pop in and say something and then duck right back out, and I had nobody. Like, I was just sitting here watching by myself, and people would pop in and out, maybe say a couple words, and then so at least I have a community now, which I like. It's not, dang it, I broke a nail. It's not really about the money. This is a hobby, it's not about the money or anything. It's just I'm trying to build something with friends, and it's nice. It's like, watching trials with friends. It's fun. So you guys are awesome. Okay.
Just so we know, we're talking about the same test, doctor. I'm talking about the test that was done on April 23rd, 1990. Is that the test you're talking about?
Yes.
Show a depression scale of 68%.
No, that's incorrect and very misleading.
Hopefully straighten me out.
You're showing her Dr. Friedman's test results?
Yes, yeah, for the record, I don't think we need to mark it in the General Counsel last week.
No, I just want Mr. Early to know what you're showing.
Okay.
Yes, I have the same thing. I'm looking at it here.
Okay.
That's not a percent.
What's a T? It's a T
That's
score?
a T score.
Okay. Is that
That's a T score.
a percentile?
No, it's not a percentile.
It's just a level or a range?
What that means that it is 2 standard deviations above the mean in, on this test, the MMPI-2.
That's not the highest, level of depression, is it, doctor?
Well, that the MMPI cannot be used like that. In other words, you can have on this profile that you showed me, you can have a greater spike would measure depression, but you then cannot say that this person only has 68% depression, whereas somebody else will have 100%.
No, I'm
depression.
sorry, no, I agree with you. It's not a percentage in that way. If I said percentage, I didn't, you're correct. I'm talking about in terms of a scale. 68% is not the extremely high area of depression when we talk about suicide and people who are incapacitated by depression. Is that correct?
No, that's incorrect. Anything above this line right here, and you can see that her scale 2 is above that line, is considered significant and important to look at and major, and you certainly would have to ask about problems with suicide ideation when you have a clear depression like that.
Okay. Let me show you John Graham's text on the MMPI, see if you recognize that.
Yes.
And doesn't that say that you've got to be up over 76% or higher to have preoccupation with death or suicide?
No, and that's not what that means.
That's what it says, though, isn't it?
No, it says interpretive possibilities. So what this is a summary of things to look for at different ranges of scale 2. And as you can see that it says that anything over 66 is considered high and anything over 76 is considered very high.
Oh, I agree, but...
But that would, from that, you would never ever conclude that because their T-score on depression is 68, that you would not be concerned, nor should you question about suicide.
Okay. But in terms of this particular scale here, it talks of being preoccupied with death and suicide at a rate of 76 or higher, right?
What he's saying that you would have the hypothesis that the person was preoccupied with death and suicide if they had a T-score of 76.
Right. And there's no mention of suicide and the range in which the defendant was. Is that correct?
No, he doesn't mention it there.
In fact, you say that the defendant had a high rate of depression. Actually, it was almost down towards the moderate scale, wasn't it?
No, anything over a T-score of 65 is considered high.
Right.
And that's 2 standard deviations above the mean, and that's significant.
Right. But what I'm saying here is that the high goes from 66 to 75, and the defendant was at 68, right?
That's correct.
So that would be the low end of it, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, the MMPI that was taken before the defendant was put in custody was back 1987.
That's correct.
And that showed a depression rate of, I don't want to say percentage now because I get in trouble, but shows a scale of 67%, is that right?
A T-score of 67.
Right. That's not clinically significant, is it?
It is significant. It's not 2 standard deviations above the mean.
Well, according to
Because what you're doing is you're mixing 2 different tests.
I understand that.
Okay.
And they've adjusted the scales from the MMPI-1 to the MMPI-2, haven't they?
That's correct.
But aren't we together on this, that if you have a T-score of under 70 for depression in the MMPI-1, that's not considered clinically significant depression?
No, that again is very misleading. It is still something that you would be looking for and considering as significant, but it doesn't have the same significance that a scale over T-score of 70 would have. That would have even greater significance. That would be more evidence that this person was suffering from a severe depression. But you don't just interpret the T-scores that are over 70. In other words, when you have a secondary elevation like she does,
No, I'm sorry, I think you answered the question.
do you understand that? Okay.
Yeah. You would have to admit, though, the defendant's depression level is significantly lower before she's put into jail on these murder charges. Wasn't that the case?
Not significantly lower now.
According to you?
That's correct.
Okay. And other people might differ with their interpretations. Wouldn't that be fair?
That is fair.
Okay. Now, you said that you paid a fair amount of deference to mental health professionals who had seen the defendant during the times before she killed Annalena Broderick. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you remember Dr. DeVos, you, I think, looked over his materials.
Yes.
And Dr. DeVos was seen by the defendant 4 times, sometime in January, or strike that, in July of '89 at the request of the defendant's attorney.
Yes.
And he made no DSM diagnosis, did he? In terms of depression, according to his deposition that was taken in October of '89.
That he did not diagnose her. That's correct. He never made a diagnosis.
In fact, he found her psychologically sound 1 month before the killings in his deposition, didn't he? In October of 1989.
Your Honor, I object. That states the evidence grossly.
I don't have a transcript of the deposition.
Sustained, just rephrase the question, Mr. Burkhoff.
Did you read the deposition of Dr. DeVos?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did he in that deposition say that he found the defendant psychologically sound on page 24?
I don't remember the page, but I remember that he contradicted himself. At one place, he said that she was psychologically sound, and another place, he said that she had emotional problems.
But he didn't diagnose her as clinically depressed, though. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And Dr. Nelson, he saw the defendant around 20 times between February of 1987 and July of 1989. Do you recall looking at his materials?
Yes,
And this was the defendant's own psychiatrist.
that's correct.
And didn't he state during the divorce trial, page 715, that the MMPI that he had administered in 1987 showed no evidence of serious psychopathology?
Yes, he did state that.
And he also stated that although the MMPI showed that she might be somewhat depressed, she was still, quote, "hiring person should be a powerful player." He said that at page 7.
Yes.
He found that the defendant's depression was only in the 50th percentile of his average.
Well, again, he was speaking about the MMPI that he had administered, the one that you talked about. And he's a psychiatrist, not a psychologist. And when I looked at his data, that did not, he misinterpreted the MMPI.
So you think he was wrong?
So he did the same thing that you did in terms of saying this was a percentile.
So you're putting me in the same ballpark with a psychiatrist. I'm flattered. Didn't he also say, though, on that same page, that the defendant was not depressed to the point where she was inactive or in any way disabled by it?
Yes, he did.
And didn't he also say that the defendant is not mentally ill, she is perfectly rational, if she murdered Mr. Broderick, as she has threatened to do so, she could never be called incompetent?
Well, sustained. Just form a question. I just asked him, did he say this?
Well, did you read this did you read that particular quote? That must have been of some interest to you, I assume, when you did your analysis.
Yes, I read that.
And let me finish it up.
Objection is hearsay.
Oh,
Well, no, it's not hearsay. Go ahead. Ask her how she interpreted it, how she explained it.
well, I'd like to get the rest of the quote out so we know what we're talking about.
Go ahead.
Okay. She could never be called incompetent in terms that she was psychotic or mentally ill. This lady knows what she is doing. She is very bright, very determined to get her share of the assets and to get her way. Did you consider that?
Yes, I considered that.
And in Dr. Nelson's deposition taken a month before the killings, he also made no DSM-3 diagnosis of the defendant being clinically depressed. Is that correct?
I don't remember that. I would need to review that material.
The deposition at page 7?
I don't have the deposition with me. Maybe you can show me yours.
Well,
Because I
maybe-
know he has diagnosed her in his files. And so that surprised me.
Okay, well, maybe we can do that at the break.
All right.
Did you read the letter that the defendant sent to Dr. Dess in November or September of 1988?
I think so.
Dr. Dess was a court-appointed expert to look at the child custody issue as part of the divorce.
Yes.
And did you consider this particular quote in the defendant's own handwriting? Mr. Broderick did not become what he is because he was married to a whiny weakling of a wife. He knew what I could do for him. He knew I was a better, stronger person than he. Did you consider that?
Certainly, I considered that.
Mrs. Broderick had a lot of interest, didn't she, that she testified to at the divorce trial in January of 1989?
Yes.
She was interested in photography, the stock market, thought about possibly going into law, maybe going back to some sort of educational capacity other than teaching in the classrooms. Is that accurate?
She has a lot of interest, yes.
Now, in the 6 months before she killed Anna Linda, she had the children for extended periods of time, right?
Yes, especially the summer before.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
Yes,
And she was fairly active. She took a lot of trips. She went to Canada and San Francisco and Acapulco, places like that.
that's correct.
And she went to New York 2 or 3 times, to New Orleans, to Hawaii, to some of these trips with her boyfriend, Brad Wright.
I know that she took some trips with him, yes.
And she was active in buying a new condominium. She was decorating it. She'd hired a decorator there, making decisions.
The summer prior to the killing, 1989, are you
Yes.
talking about? Yes.
And she was taking steps to sell her house in Calle de Cielo.
That's correct.
She was attending various public meetings and doing some public speaking.
You mean the Halt's meetings?
Yes.
Yes,
And the gender bias hearings, that sort of thing.
yes.
And she actually, back from sometime later in 1985, she had a very close relationship with Brad Wright, didn't she? And that continued up until the time of the killings.
Yeah, that's correct. We had a very close friendship.
In fact, she had successfully run an independent household for 4.5 years prior to the killings.
I don't know that that's true. I think that it would depend upon your definition of successful.
Well, she was able to, she had a house of her own, didn't she?
Yes, she
And she was
lived
able-
by herself alone.
She was able to maintain the household. She didn't have to have, she could live on her own, I take it.
I think that it was not successful. I think that she had a great difficulty. I think that she really struggled during that period of time, and so that I would not use the word successful.
She lived on her own.
She did not.
Okay.
That's correct.
Didn't need anybody to take care of her. And on the weekend of the homicides, she took her boys, she took them shopping, took them to haircuts,
That's
to a
correct.
football game, soccer game,
That's correct.
took pictures, that sort of thing.
Yes,
She went to Mary Dietz on Saturday and talked about her finances.
that's correct.
And that evening, Saturday night, she invited Brad Wright over, cooked him a dinner.
Yes,
And you've heard Mr. Wright, or maybe you haven't, but from reviewing the discovery, you know that Mr. Wright said that they had an uneventful, nothing unusual about it evening that evening.
I know that he said that. Yes,
And that he noted nothing unusual about the defendant's demeanor that day or that evening.
I'm not. I didn't. You would have to show me. I don't remember that, but I don't remember. I remember him saying that it was an uneventful event.
And that the defendant went to sleep at a usual time between 9 and 10 o'clock that night.
Yes,
And that in fact nothing unusual about the defendant for the last 3 or 4 weeks before she shot Dan and Linda. Isn't that correct?
and unusual in terms of.
In comparison to the way she normally was. There was nothing, in other words, out of the ordinary in terms of the way the defendant normally acted that took place between the 3 or 4 weeks prior to the defendant's killing these 2 people.
Okay, I think that the sense that I got, however, was that he saw her as somebody who did struggle with depression and had struggled with depression for as long as he had known her. And so that the impression that I got, that when he was talking about unusual, he wasn't talking about somebody who didn't have problems.
Well, if he didn't testify that way, he just said there was nothing unusual about her when he testified a few days ago.
Your Honor, I object to the argument.
Sustained.
Did you hear Mr. Wright testify maybe a week and a half ago?
No, but I read the transcript from the first hearing. And I guess what I'm referring to is that, you know, he did describe her as having problems with depression, and he indicated that she would try to mask her depression.
But if he testified in this trial that there was nothing unusual about her in the 3 to 4 weeks before the killings, would you consider that in making your opinion here?
I can, if he said that, you know, I can agree that he said that.
Did you know that, did you take this into account that P.J. Hathaway saw the defendant the Saturday before she killed these people and said that, in his words, she was happy-go-lucky?
Yes, I read that.
And that when she changed, it was because she was angry about the divorce, that sort of thing?
That's correct. That she appeared happy-go-lucky at one moment and angry at another, as I recall his saying in the first trial.
But he never testified that she appeared depressed?
Not to him, right?
Mr. Burkhoff, might this be a good time to take the afternoon recess?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take our afternoon recess. This time we'll be in recess until 5 minutes after 3. Please remember the admonition. May resume, Mr. Burkhoff.
Dr. DeFrancesca,
Oh
when you read
God.
the discovery, I
You guys, we got a verdict. So, okay. I'm gonna make a new stream. I'll see you over there in a few minutes.